Okay, I think I'm finally ready. Almost. Um, um, hey, Speak, if you're still here. I don't think anybody is probably thinking I'm going to go through this, but I am. I'm just about ready. I just had to kind of move stuff around. I just moved, so the lighting and everything, and I couldn't find my cord. Like it's just kind of been a mess, but I am doing this. So I'm just gonna put on music for like 5 minutes probably, which you know maybe in my time is like 8 to 10, but um, I just wanted to make sure and start it so that it didn't like keep getting pushed back so many times, like as far as the time. So let me go back to my the normal music. Let me see. It's been so long since I've done a show, so I wanted to do one. I didn't want to like flake out again. It's been like craziness, but okay. Yeah. Okay, I am here. I am just trying to test my lighting, so I'm going to take it up from the stage. I just set up a lamp. I'm going to see what it looks like really quick. Um, so okay, let's see here. Oh my goodness, I am here. My throat is kind of scratchy. I actually have been it's been like a lot of smoke around here. We have like 4th of July here in Utah because we have the 24th of July. It's like the Pioneers Day. I think they had more fireworks then than ever, but they've had some fires. So anyway, okay. So I think I can't tell if anyone's here. Oh, I forgot to read the comments. Okay. Oh, somehow they made us here. How she come back if she's not still here? Lionel, hey, and Speak. Thanks guys for being here. Hold on. Try to get some. I go on like forever long walk today too. My car, I don't know what's wrong with it. It was like overheating. I'm like, oh, I'm sad. Had it for like 10 years. It's awesome. But it's had a good life. So my comments, it's so weird. Like I tried to respond to speak, and then it said YouTube blocked my chat. Like, and then I did it on my phone. It was perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, weird. Let's see. Oh shit! I just hide someone's comment. I can. Oh, show. It's like, where'd it go? Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay, cool. You're back. So, when I moved, my computer it died and it like closed all my tabs that I had open, but it should be pretty easy to find. And then I have my StreamYard, or I mean my YouTube playlist. So I'm just gonna play something here shortly. But getting back to the topic, I've wanted to do this topic for a while, and having to keep push it back. So I'm going to grab my iPad so I can have like the articles on one, and then keep things organized. But basically, I've always kind of known that like the highways are like a major benefit to like criminals because they cross so many different jurisdictions so quickly. And even though now we have electronic files and evidence of like eyewitnesses of suspects or persons of interest and things like that, it's still divided enough where like it takes a human almost detective or like a small group to say, wait, this crime scene has like a lot of similarities to that other one. Whereas like if you're just reading something in it and there's just probably they don't even read them a lot of the time unless they're like very unique type, like a memoir souvenir kind of serial killer where they'll actually leave their mark signature thing. Weirdos. But if they don't do that and they just find a body in the woods or something, it's like they don't really have ties to like put them together. So anyway, I know that I got a little bit into the true crime dramas like during the pandemic, and even though I knew about like Ted Bundy, in fact, he was in Utah. That's where he first got identified as not too far from where I live. And then um, I do actually have a story. So my great grandmother. So sorry, this is so annoying. I wonder if my vape makes my voice like more vulnerable too, but I'm not gonna admit that. So anyway, my great grandmother had a duplex that was like in Salt Lake area by kind of by the University of Utah, which is where Ted Bundy was going to law school when he moved here, and he would like they were having they had some co-eds all female that were attacked, and I think two were definitely deleted, and the cause was blunt force trauma, just literally like beat their heads, and it was so weird when they were sleeping. But so they already had that happen, and then I think there was somebody I don't know. There was some other like suspicions they had, so they had kind of put it out on the news, like um someone was out and about, and then my grandmother, my great grandmother, recognized him like on the news. That he had tried to chase her into her house. He pretended like he was trying to rent the duplex, and then she said she got this really weird feeling, like just a bad feeling when she went to like show the rental, and so when he kind of creeped her out, she tried to like shut the door and he like pushed it open. And because it's her home and she knew how to get out easily, she like ran through and got through the back door and got out. But then yeah, later she was like, that's him. And that was right where he was and stuff. So kind of creepy. But anyway, so he went, I know he was like up in Seattle, Oregon, came through California, I believe, or maybe not, but like came down to Utah till eventually, but basically because he was crossing those state lines, um, they didn't put together, these young brunette college age females that were being killed by Brent force trauma in the night, and the last person they had seen him with, or not with him, but like in the area or some kind of a eyewitness saying, well, there was this guy or whatever, because he had the habit of pretending to be injured and then asking these women for help. Like once it was the groceries in the car or getting a boat out to the water, just stuff like that. And so there would be stories about him. There was a guy with a cast or something like that, but they had so they knew in that city that like who he was, but they didn't know there was a guy in the next two towns over. And that was right after they built the I want to say that one is the I-80. They also have like the I-15 interstate, and so people can just fly through the states like very easily. So that's why serial killers became so big in like the 70s, 80s, because of that reason. But since then, they've been an avenue for people like the Green River Killer, among like many others. But basically, they are a very convenient way for evil-minded people to get away with disposing bodies and anonymous kind of um, not was like a Jane Doe or a runaway or a sex worker or a drug addict. Those types of people, unfortunately, in society are kind of looked upon as like, well, whatever. And oftentimes those people are kidnapped and trafficked and victimized, and it's not because they're out of their mind. It's just that they're so discarded as even taking them seriously and like looking for them, or putting a detective team together to try to figure out who did it and stuff like that. So, um, now getting to the truckers. So because obviously people that are on the highways most will be long haul truck drivers, and also they have like an entire cabin kind of thing in their truck, so it's easier to like have a captor and whatever. Oh, hey, what's up? Let's see. I didn't get an alert for this. I was just searching for twerking. Saw the Great Blue Jays on Snoop. Yeah, I probably have the equipment to twerk, but I can't do it. I've tried, and it's not like important. I didn't try that hard. I was just like, how do I do that? Oh, look at. So, anyways, I have been like afraid of vans, mostly like white vans, with like no windows. U-Hauls that are just kind of not seemingly like in the moving process. Anything where you can't really see in, and they could like pull, like there's room to pull you in, and stuff like that. So obviously that's true. That's not paranoia. That's actually a really higher propensity to be abducted by something like that. But truck drivers, I didn't come in contact with a lot, so I can I can imagine being like, I mean, this is my own like projection or like preconceived notion, but I would imagine them to be kind of like perverts because they seem like they would like have porn all the time, or maybe like calling whoever, which I don't judge people for what they do, like, but I'm just saying like I could see that, but I really never kind of thought of them as like creepy, like um calculated murders. Like I know people don't say that. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, they say it on the news, so I don't get the problem. But anyway, but when I was a kid, like living in Utah and surrounding areas that have like a lot of natural, what do they call them? The parks. I just, I'm not called natural parks, but like It's well, it's gonna bother me, but anyway. So, there's a lot of like driving involved, and then when you have to stop and use the bathroom or whatever, you go to a truck stop, and they're nice. I mean, it's not like porta potties for the most part. They're like, a air conditioned or heated building with like soap and like full on facilities. But there's kind of a creepy feeling to them. I do remember that, like, just kind of like, I don't know, just like wandering people. Like there's no accountability, and they're all like kind of like pot belly guys with like a beard and like kind of look not like mean, but they could be mean. I don't know. Anyway, but so it didn't like entirely surprise me that serial killers would be have a higher propensity to commit these crimes, but I didn't realize the vast amount. So the FBI they put together a team now, and they are estimating there are 450 currently active serial killers, like on the highways right now. So it's a lot. I mean, there's obviously a lot of truck drivers, so I'm not saying it's like likely that a truck driver is a killer, but killers are what more likely to be a truck driver than like other kinds of maybe like remote or kind of like a smaller area where they would not be able to kind of like hide their actions and like their trail, and then also like they're passing through kind of desolate areas, whether that's desert or wood, foresty areas or lakes, waters, like reservoirs, whatever. So it's easier to get rid of things too. So I know that is a crazy number, huh? So I was watching these videos and, an attempt to prepare because I had seen them when they come up on my feed, and like I'd watched a couple in entirety, or the shorter ones, but the one that I had that said the 450 that talks with the FBI, and it's actually a man that wrote a book about it. He actually went, I forget how long he'll say, I think he went like several months on the road, and so he got kind of a feel for not only like what would be opened up as far as opportunities to do the unthinkable, heinous things, but also the mindset that the isolation and like almost kind of a not loneliness per se, but I don't know, just like too much free time, almost like a solitary, confinement in a way. But basically, what your mind kind of starts to either create or have a void for, or even like hopefully majority of people will stick to like audiobooks and YouTube videos and music and good thoughts and calling their family or whatever. But of course, any, idle minds on the devil's playground, pretty much idle hands, but same thing. But basically, if you are the type of person that's like into kind of more in that like underground world, I know that the propensity for truck drivers and substance abuse in the form of methamphetamines, primarily crystal meth amphetamine, is high, way higher than most occupations or the average like general public, because that makes sense to me because you got to stay awake when you're driving. And like for me, I like fall asleep in the car easy, so like I totally could see that, especially if they have the kind of job where it's like the option of when you're done, you're done. And so they kind of, I think their regulation, they're not supposed to drive more than like 16 hours a day or something. But we all know there's going to be like companies or, just managers or even like sole proprietors that are going to, break that rule. So people get really sleepy, and then that will keep them up for days. And I do know that Well, for one, people get it confused. Like Adderall and methamphetamine is different. It's actually a different molecule entirely, which is why people that do crystal meth, they like have, you know, different behaviors on their skin, their teeth, their bodies, like everything's different. So people, I like clear that up because people don't seem to understand that. But secondly, methamphetamine in the form of like crystal, um, I know for a fact, and this is like, okay, so when I was married to my kid's dad, he was from New Mexico, and they had a lot of like, it's not coal mining, but it's like some kind of industry that's just like depressing. The land is like really depressing looking. It's barren with kind of that rolling tumbleweeds, like dirt, looking. And then um, people are pretty like in a lot of areas kind of like poverty, and so they have almost just like stretches of land with no green or anything, but just like a manufactured home or trailer home or something like that. And so for whatever reason, people that are like very, I don't know, if it's depressed or bored or poverty, whatever, more prone to do. Um, I think most of it's probably, but I do know that they had like a major problem with methamphetamine, um, even like amongst his kind of extended family, and they're just they act kind of weird. No, I mean, he has like family that's like extremely like conservative Baptist too, but I'm just saying like there's always like bad seed kind of, come to the Christmas thing, and it's just like interesting, but it just anyway. But so one of his good friends growing up ended up becoming a DA. I don't know if that's the right term, but he was like high up in the police force, and he was on the drug task, team. And so he happened to be coming through Utah to go up north somewhere, and he had contacted my assistant and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in your town. Like, I would love to see you, catch up, and meet your wife, and blah, blah, blah." And he was married too, so they came through, and he was telling us that almost. So he was telling us about the problem and the numbers of these reporting and cases of methamphetamine um, distribution and just whatever. But he said like 99% of the time, and this is not my words, it's his, like, 'cause I remember it like stuck in my mind. But he said like 99% of the time when they like raid a home and they find methamphetamines, they find child explicit inappropriate images. And he was explaining how it works. And if any, I'm not an expert on this, so I don't want to offend some of these women. Like, have a family member that was on, this substance, and they think I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not trying to claim to be like that I know for sure, but I'm going off of like a very reputable source. Hearsay, of course. But anyways, for what it's worth, he was saying that oftentimes, like, they cannot, after being on that drug, if like say it's a heterosexual couple and it intensifies like the sexual experience, like heightens everything. And I've actually had um a person tell me that it's like a friend of a friend kind of thing. But anyway, he was like gotten off of that, and I was asking him like, why do people even want to be on that? Because like most people that do it, they look kind of like bad. And he said because you can never get satisfied like sexually again without it. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I would have never guessed that. But he said it's just like makes it so much better that you can't, like, normal sex is just too boring or something like that. But anyway, so he was so back to the DA, I don't know what you'd call him, but um lieutenant or something. But anyways, he was saying kind of that same thing, like that, they kind of start having like a lot of sexual escapades, and then after a while that's kind of gets boring. So they maybe like do multiple people, and then it might even expand to like trying um kind of like bisexual things, stuff like that. And then he said, but almost always the end of it, it ends up being like violent and kind of, you know, images or videographies and also minors. And so before I am slept to myself, like, I don't care what people do if they want to do their drugs and blah, blah, like, doesn't bother me. But after I found that out, I've kind of had, and this was back like, I mean, we've been divorced. This like, probably, it's gonna make me feel really old. Let me think, like, my daughter was probably like late 2007 ish, you know. So it's been a long time. So I've kind of had this disdain for that substance. Like after hearing that, that's kind of why I get so pissed off when people like come up and lie and say stupid shit on here about me. It's like there's so many other connotations comes along with that, and it's so stupid. Anyways, enough of that. But anyway, so that part of it, I kind of thought, well, if the truckers are doing all these, you know, smoking, or I think you can do it any way you want, like snort it, smoke it, shoot it up, whatever they do to. But then if they're alone and that, like with what the DA said, is like highly almost a guarantee of like expanding sexual like escapades as far as more and more extreme and things like that, and they're alone in their cars, I'm like, or trucks, like it doesn't necessarily surprise me that it's possible that if they were to get like you know let's say hire somebody to come visit them and they were having all these fantasies about, you know, darker things, like maybe more of like the sadom sadomasochist kind of things, um that would be a more like reasonable like step along the way, especially knowing that they can easily hide evidence. Nobody knows them wherever they go. They're tracked, but they're tracked for such a long distance that it's not like, what were you doing in that city that day? You know, there's like they're supposed to be there. So, but the numbers are staggering and they're very scary. And so, what I want to do first is just play a little clip. I'm a little nervous about it because it is a movie, Joyride. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's really scary. And I saw it back like early 2000. It came out in 2001. I know that because I've been looking up clips for it. I saw it probably a little bit after that, but I'd never forget the like sound of the voice, like "Come in, candy cane." Like it's so scary. I'll never forget it. So, and it's a trucker. So I'm gonna play a little of that. And the reason I want to do it first is because, for one, it kind of like sets the tone, but two, if they shut me down for it, I guess at the beginning, I don't know. But I found it on YouTube, so I think it's probably okay. He's not welcome on my channel, Mike from Boston. Sorry. Please don't invite him over. I'm assuming he knows that, but I very few people are not welcome here, and he's one of them. So okay. So you're welcome to be here, right? Okay. Yeah, I like listening to legit ramble about things. She doesn't have the typical woman for brain. Oh, I guess nice to me and very mean to other women. Thank you. No disrespect to women. Perfect. Okay, you said it. I didn't even need to. Okay, Lionel said he watched Candyman 2 today. Okay, I used to get that one confused because I couldn't remember the name Joyride. But you know what else I need to find is the one with Reese Witherspoon when she's young. I think it's like one of her first movies. It's called. I'll have to look at it. It's like a short word. I'll find it. But anyways, I hope due to the fact that no, Mike from Boston, that's not why. It's the derogatory and unprovoked things that he has said to me. Not only when I was not on the panel to defend myself, but also when I wasn't even on the chat. So like I would replay and it just sexual like very inappropriate things and also false accusation of criminal activities. And I had asked him to please not contact me or speak of me. And as far as I know, he's been keeping that. So I appreciate him, doing that and keeping that respect. But I just don't have a lot to talk to him about. So it's all good. So anger and no like malice toward him. It's just I just we don't yeah, there's no need to have any further context. Okay. But yes, he is a truck driver. So I would say the percentage is still low that he is, since the majority of truck drivers are not. But he has probably a higher, and there's like a higher, what do you call it? Like not a percentage, but like higher odds, I guess we'll say that, of being in that role than the average person. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. Child's play. Yeah. I don't think I saw the second one, and probably not very much of the first one. Of course, like it's like iconic, like you could just there, come out and play. Like it's so creepy, but I'm trying to focus on like Trek. I'm gonna see if so the Candyman one. I was getting confused because on the CB on Joyride it says Candy Cane, but Candyman is like not the same thing. And I haven't seen that one. I don't really like scary movies, honestly. But then I'm trying to remember that one that I'm sure we could easily find it, but like I kind of want to remember it myself. It's Reese Witherspoon, and then like some trucker kind of like kidnaps her, I think. Um, like she's hitchhiking or something, but then he like keeps her. I want to say like ride or like rush or something, and I know that's sorry. Fear. Okay, that's not. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you guys. I'm like sitting here brainstorming, and it's like you guys already put it in the chat. Fear. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Okay, let me calm down because I had to get like super close to the screen to pull up my YouTube. In fact, I wonder if my iPad charged because if I pull it up on there and then all I have to do is pull a history. But either way, I have like a playlist saved. So I'm gonna calm down for a second. And I hate to play the music, but I'll just try to stop for a second because I really just want to find that first one. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry, I like pulled up YouTube and it started playing this stream. I must have clicked on it earlier. To like, oh, it's because I had to chat through it since it rejected my challenge for me. Okay, let's see. Um, so they're just like short little clips, and it's from another content creator. So I always get confused about that. It's like, why did they have it on here and I get strike? I mean, that makes no sense. So maybe they just got lucky. Yeah, I will get lucky too. Let's see here. Okay, I think this will be the first one getting the radio. So I'm gonna. It's been like so long since I've even been on here that I can forget. Okay, there we go. Share screen. Oh no. Right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry, almost there. Gosh, this is so touchy. Okay, let's see. Okay, words. Let me see. Oh, I made it big. Denison said, "Don't ever make it big until you're done pushing the button." So I gotta go back. I was just saying, go back. Where's Stephen? I haven't seen him very much, but I guess I haven't done any strains either. So, all right, let me go ahead and mute myself and play this part. It kind of, if anyone hasn't seen it, it just kind of sets the tone of like the movie. hear that? Like, did it like a one in the chat? You can hear it.
No, I swear. I'm barely slowing the car in Denver. I'll give him a 7-mile-an-hour chance to jump and roll.
You did your mom a big favor, and she's happy now. And this time tomorrow, you'll be here with me, and it'll be a whole new level of stress to deal with.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get going.
Thank you guys.
Guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Downsizing? Your company just lets a talented man like you go, just like that?
Yep.
That sucks, man. But this job kicks ass, huh? You get your trailer here. Now you're working kind of outside. You got a view.
What is this?
CB radio. Olive branch. Check it out.
Got a hole in my car.
Talked him down to $40.
We just.
Oh, sorry, I was still muted. Okay, so yeah, I know Paul Walker. That's crazy. Yeah, and then the other guy, I know he's in a lot of stuff, but there's one movie in particular I was trying to remember that it's not like. I think he. Oh yeah, he plays like it's a kids movie. That's the one, Daddy Daycare, and he plays the broccoli. Is that right? Or is that the It's like when I'm pretty sure it's Eddie Murphy, and he like is his wife is working, but he's like temporarily out of work, so he has the kid. For I don't know, and then she worked for an executive, and they're dressed up like vegetables, Vegemite or something like that. That guy, he plays the broccoli. Okay, phone booths. I know they were so grimy, but they were kind of cool. Like I remember getting paged and then having to go find like a phone booth, I guess to call it. So, like the Daddy Daycare. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a good movie. Hey, how is Superman going to change his clothing? I don't know about that. Is that supposed to be? I'm sure everybody else gets it. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a really interesting, it's a recent news, and I think it's not like mainstream news in Austin, Texas, but it's commonly known. So they have like this little area, and I've been to Austin, but I probably was around if that's like the main area where they have the bars and they're on the water and the restaurants kind of like more happening like spots. But I was probably drunk, so I don't drink anymore. Almost 4 years. So like when I would get lit, it was like I was just like almost like blackout. Like what we do? I thought we had fun though. But anyway, so that area, like when the bars are closing down and it's just like men, and they're not like all fitting a certain like gender orientation or sexual orientation or race or any like kind of like characteristic per se, but they're all men and they're all like getting somehow falling in the water between the time they leave the bar and when they would like go home, and they're all alone every time. I think they're. I don't think there was a woman. I think it was all men. But anyway, I wanted to play that because I believe they said there's like 12 or 13, and they're all in the same kind of way, like they're drowned. But I think a lot of them have like head trauma. So a lot of the citizens and people are putting all these, especially like the victims, families are like, wait a minute, and they're hearing all these repeat stories, and every time the police force is saying, we are not investigating this further. We've ruled out foul play, this appears to be an accidental, we're not considering homicide, things like that. So people are starting to kind of put pressure on him. So it's kind of interesting. So I would play that. Because that's news, I think it should be okay. Let's see. RTJ is Doom. Is that Robert Downey Jr.? Oh, oh probably. Okay. Let's see. I know. I really. You know what? He's offended by my Superman lack of knowledge. I never got into Superman. I think I was like a little too young for that because like I think the first one I remember seeing was Batman, but the only one I really like knew and liked was Spider-Man. Let's see. I like the nose. She does have a picture. Thank you, Lena. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna play the one in Austin, not necessarily that group of people. The other one's kind of long, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a little bit of the one in Austin, just kind of like learn about kind of like this. It fits into the serial killer topic. It's not like the truck driver, but then I'll probably play another clip of the joyride, and then I'm gonna get into the actual like 45-minute segment that is addressing those 450 and kind of patterns and courses of action that they're planning to take. And I have not seen the whole thing, partly because of the time, because I'm busy, but partly because I've been researching this and it's kind of scary, kind of dark. So once I knew that it was like reputable and it did say what was on the title, it wasn't like catfishing or anything, and it was real, then I figured we can kind of see some of it together. Okay, it is going to take me a second to find that one in Austin State. It's on my stream list or stream idea playlist, but so are some other things. So I think what I'll do is play music for just like until it takes me to find it, 30 seconds or something. I'm not going anywhere, but I always pause when I'm like reading and talking, so it's pretty pointless. So I'll just Okay, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, I forget something that many. Is it kind of fuzzy? Did I touch like I might have touched something? Hang on. Oh shoot. Okay. So I sometimes put way too many things in my screen or in my playlist, and I was like, okay. But I'm not gonna play all this one. It's like 22 minutes. But as I was scrolling, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have like a bunch of like real cases of the truck driver serial killers too. So let's do this one first, and then while it's playing a little bit, I will kind of like sort it through and get a little more organized. But that'll be a good kind of up to date, real life kind of makes you realize we think, oh, serial killers and like, these icon kind of legendary serial killers that they make movies about, but it's like, forget they're still serial killers like right now. It's creepy. Okay, 1 second. Let me pull up this. I've already got it up. I just have to make sure that I make it larger real quick. Let's see. I also had some articles, um, but this is kind of better to watch videos, I think, despite the risk. Okay. So,
A word of warning. This podcast explores graphic and disturbing stories and includes some strong language. It therefore may not be suitable for our young listeners or other folks who may find it disturbing. Hello and welcome to a special edition of True Crime News, the podcast. I'm your host, Anna Garcia. Everyone in the world of true crime has a story to tell about a case they worked or they lived through. Some are high profile, some you've never heard of, but they're all fascinating. Today's episode is about serial killers, a specific group of serial killers who tend to hide as long-haul truck drivers. The connection between interstate highways and the disappearance of women along those routes is so real that the FBI has something called the Highway Serial Killing Initiative. It's there to help local authorities with highway murders. There have been approximately 850 murders over the last few decades that line up with truck routes. We're recording this on Monday, July 1st of 2024. Our guest today is Frank Figliuzzi, a retired FBI agent and former assistant director to the Bureau's counterintelligence program. Frank is also the author of Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers, which is now available everywhere. Frank, welcome to the program. And as you were just telling me, your book's doing tremendously. It's like at the top of the list.
Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to a great discussion. And yes, the reception to the book in just about 4 weeks now has been remarkable in the sense that my publisher, HarperCollins, has decided to go into its third printing. That happened within the first 3 weeks. And we're maintaining our #1 bestseller status in the law enforcement category. We've been also #1 in serial killing true crime for a brief time. So why am I happy about this? Obviously, I'm not just talking about the sales.
I'm pausing it partly to like break it up a little bit, but also just to kind of point out he does kind of plug his book, but I mean, whatever, I guess, why not? But he's the one that went on the ride and did all the research. So it is a little bit kind of salesy, but I mean, he's giving real information this. So anyway, let's see. He said, I used to sleep to Dateline podcast, but stopped when I realized every story involved someone being unalived. Soaking that in 24/7 wasn't good for my well-being, right? I've fallen asleep sometimes, YouTube on, and then I'll wake up and I've dreamt about like whoever was talking, and I remember that I dreamt about them, but I'm like, I'm sure whatever they were saying or whatever is like stored and locked in my mind, guiding my subconscious behaviors now. But anyway, okay, I'll take this back off. Means we can rely on its info. Okay, Lionel, that's a positive way to look at it. You're right.
I'm talking about the message that needs to get out about the horror of our highways.
Yeah, it's so interesting. For decades, we've had these conversations about anyone who disappears or whose body is found along one of these corridors, that it's a way of easy entrance, easy exit, kind of hard to find. And as you know, you obviously as a specialist in this area, what I find most fascinating is the potential for so many of these murders to actually be linked to one killer. And so it frightens me that there are that many potential serial killers either out there or have been out there that for the most part have gone undetected as such.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, what you've just described is kind of the reason for existence of the FBI's Highway Serial Killings Initiative, because this surpasses the capabilities of most local, county, state law enforcement, as we are working with mobile crime scenes in the form of an 18-wheeler big rig. What's happening is these killers, and thankfully we're only talking about a tiny fraction of long-haul truckers, but they're doing damage. They're exploiting the gaps in law enforcement. They're grabbing a victim in one police jurisdiction, they're raping and or murdering her in a second jurisdiction, and they're dumping the remains in a third. So the challenge is immense for most departments to figure this out. The numbers are staggering. We're talking about 850 murders of women alongside the nation's highways, mostly sex trafficked women in just the last few decades. 450 suspects, long haul truckers, being looked at right now by the FBI. And of those 850 cases, 200 are considered open and unsolved. That's despite the fact that 25 long haul truckers are already in prison for multiple homicides.
Are you finding that the changes now in DNA technology, especially with, the incredible lab, Othram Labs, we have them on the program a lot. They really have been instrumental in solving an incredible amount of cold cases because they're able to work with that degraded DNA, which so many labs cannot. Do you feel that now, because of the change in DNA technology, that there is at least the potential to solve some of the colder cases?
No question. And this is one of the bright spots in a rather dark story that I've written. And that bright spot is indeed advancements in DNA analysis, the use of genealogical DNA and access to those databases, particularly the DNA databases that exist for the purpose of helping law enforcement. And yes, decades old cases are now being solved. Even as I researched the book, I had to stop because there were such developments, and I had to incorporate those cases into the book. So that's really good news. The bad news is, that puts in stark reality the fact that, yes, we've gone 30, 40 decades in some of these cases before even knowing who the body belongs to, being able to put a name to the body, let alone to put a name to the killer. But yes, finally, 30, 40 years later, we are starting to do that. But yet, as we say that, the killing continues on the highway.
Is there a case in particular that you want to discuss or that you think really highlights this issue of the difficulty of this really killers on the move who are an integral part of our society and our industry and ability to get things done, who are kind of flying under the radar?
Well, I think so. First, to stay on our good news story, the most recent case of a major serial killer trucker that has been solved through genealogical DNA is the case of Gary Artman, and we're talking 911. And be aware,
This photo represents a
Sorry, I went back into the buffalo. I'd rather listen to buffalo. Okay. So anyway, so I actually did look into several cases that they have, convicted some of these men, and they're just disgusting, creepy, scary people. But luckily they were found, caught, and they like a lot of these people do when they're in the court and someone's either say a forensic specialist is explaining to the jury or the judge like the details of how the act was carried out and what was used and all these other things. Like people just like get so excited, it's just freaking weird. But anyway, so the first guy, I don't, did he say Dennis or something? Anyway, I have like a bunch in in the stream, but one that was I think he killed like somebody to kill like 50. Honestly, like I said, I would like watch a little bit of them, but I don't remember all their names and stuff like that. And then okay, yeah, Mike from Boston said almost impossible to link to a suspect. It is. That's what's so scary about it, because I mean, a lot of the time when their remains are found, they've been exposed to animals and elements, time, just deterioration that naturally occurs. So even if they can figure out now who it is, a lot of time those people hadn't been reported as missing because, you know, if they are kind of in that lifestyle of, kind of the underground type, red light district type thing, their families kind of know that they're like, oh, I think she's in Vegas, or I think he's in California last I heard. It's more like that. So it's not like they're calling like, oh no, he didn't come home from work last night or whatever. So it's kind of makes those people more like anonymous in a way, I guess. Not, not as many people searching for them, like ringing the bell. So anyway, I'm thinking I'll play like one more little clip of the Joyride one. I thought I was clicking on the Austin one before, but I clicked the wrong one either way, and that kind of gave like a good framework of the amount. So they said 850 victims in a few decades. I mean, yeah, on the big scale, it doesn't, it's not a lot, like in comparison to the general population, which obviously, I mean, most people aren't getting taken out by a serial killer, but even still, that I know would be like grossly underreported, because some of these people, like I said, they're gone, but nobody's reported them missing, so nobody knows. Or they rule it as, a taking their own life or accidental, or, a drowning or whatever it is, that they just like throw it on the label on it, as like considering sometimes these people to be like a lower level of like humanity, which is wrong. But they don't put a lot of time, money, or effort into these detective cases because they kind of, in a roundabout way, figure, well, they like signed up for it, it's just insane. But anyway, let me pull up one real quick, and then I forgot I was gonna grab my iPad during that one, and I didn't want to keep letting it play too long, especially with individual cases, since I do have some of those anyway. And then the more I kind of mix up the videos, the better. And I don't know if anybody wants to comment or like, come on the panel and discuss anything, because they're more than welcome to. I'll post the link and maybe like after like this next one, or I'll post it like while this is playing, and then if anybody wants to, no pressure either. I mean, we're just chilling. So I think that one is going to be real easy to find. So let me just stop the camera. Hopefully that's so. I always forget you guys can't. Oh, I'm still sharing something. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Get back to the top. So now it's page mini. I'm just gonna see. I think it might be. There's like 3 of them. Let's see. Okay, the Mattel. I'm gonna play that one real quick. It's scary. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm never good at doing two things at once. So, okay, I think, yeah. Yeah, I think this is the second one because I have like little clips that are, I want them to be in order. So I think we're good. Okay. Share. Jeez. I think I'm doing something like complicated. But all right.
Hey there, Rusty Nail, you hear this? Look, that was me, all right? I'm a guy. It was just a joke. It was just a joke.
I forgot. I didn't want to play this other one because it's still kind of. So basically, when they were first like playing around with TV, they were just kind of messing with people. And this guy on the other line went by the name Rusty Nail, and they said something to him like stupid, and he kind of blew it up. And then the guy that's showing in the picture right now, he told Paul Walker, he's like, "Hey, why don't you pretend to be a girl, like, and just say, oh, I'd like to meet you. I'm Candy Cane or something like that." And then, when the guy responded, and then he was like starting to get more and more aggressive. And then at some point, they were like starting to get afraid. And that's about where this is right here.
Apologize.
Right. No, just do it. Apologize to him? Yeah. I'll do it. Listen, you sick fuck. Pathetic, lonely, walkie-talkie, freak show motherfucker. You're not getting anything from me. You know why? Because I have something more powerful than your psychosis. It's called a volume knob. And the only thing I need to do to make you go away is to turn it counterclockwise. You got that? You copy that?
You know, Black Sheep, you really ought to get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
Your tail light.
You see anything? Yeah, cars and trucks. Just drive. Just be cool. Oh my god. Follow us from the motel? I don't know. As long as we keep driving, we're safe. God. What? Look. Oh, come on. I know, but it's okay. I saw a sign, like a gas at Laramie. There'll be a phone there, and I'm going to call Sheriff Ritter. Oh, good. Yeah, we'll be all right. Laramie, that'll be good. We'll be all right. Oh, my God. Okay. Just stay cool. All right, just leave me. Will you stop telling me to be cool? You're making me, like, crazy. Okay. Get the map. Okay. All right. Fuck! We're not going to make it to Laramie. All right, take the next exit. I think there's a town there. Well, how far is it? I don't know. How far is it? My cuticle to my knuckle. I don't know. 12 miles. You might not even make it 12 miles. Take this exit right here. Yes! Yes, I'm genius.
Okay. I thought it was going to my end again. This is like kind of. I like that movie's so scary for some reason. I think it's just maybe because it is so easily to be true. Let's see here. Oh, hi, Kendor. Said, you think Barney's on the Steffo one? Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of those elite politician people are, like they don't have, we just know, right? It's like obviously. Okay, so now I can see a lot better on my evidence looking to see. So I was surprised when I started looking how many of these serial killers have like a big like impact on like how many people and like kind of what they're notorious for and like how they were able to get away with it. And I'd never heard of any of them. So makes you realize there are more than the top, few that we hear, like John Wayne Gacy. He's a scary. He scares me so bad. I don't even think I could do a stream on him because I can't sleep. I even like see anything about him. He's so freaking weird. But anyway, so I'm looking on here. The one that is the most common that came up when I first started searching. And I'm trying to remember if it was the same one that the man that wrote the book mentioned. Let me just look really quick. So I saw it when I was scrolling on the computer, but I got too much stuff. Oh, I'm in history. That's why I'm like, where? Okay, sorry. This doesn't seem right. Okay. So his name, okay. Arthur Shawcross, is that one of the one? No, there's so many of them, but okay, let's see. The one that I'm looking for was, I'll remember it. It's like 3-word name. So there's this guy named Robert truck driver. Okay, let me just play this short one really quick because it's 6 minutes. And then it's just like a local news one or something, but I'll be able to like pull up the next one. Oh, I'm okay. I'm just gonna assume you guys are having your conversation about. Oh, thanks, Kendor. Appreciate you being here. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, please come back and I'll panel soon too. I'd love to have you on. Okay. I think he's on here the first time. I'm trying to remember Barney. Okay. Present this real quick because now it's my history. So I don't even know if I've watched what I'm about to play, to be honest. But we'll watch it together. Let's see. The computer's like so slow. I don't know why. Just moved to a new place. Supposed to have good bandwidth, but okay. I guess I did watch some of it. Like that, I really remember it means it might be boring. So if it's boring, we'll just change it. Okay.
But already, Detective Han Holt.
There we go. All right, let's see what they say about this. Cause truck driver was a serial killer. Why is it not playing? What's going on? Okay. Oh, that's weird.
This is News for Nashville.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, my initial thought was, I thought he was a serial killer.
Tonight, for the first time, never before
That
seen
guy's
video
awesome.
and photographs of the long-haul truck driver suspected of killing women across the United States.
It's been 3 years ago this week that a Clarksville woman says she made a daring escape after being kidnapped by Roy Nelsh on Interstate 24.
But since then, little to no information has been released. Since that reported kidnapping, News 4 Investigates has been digging into what happened there.
Now, our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, not only obtained photographs of evidence, but also video of Nelsh himself answering questions.
And Jeremy, it's important to note, no one outside of police has ever seen what you have uncovered.
That's right. So what we have found in this evidence since the case, since Nelsh's death in March, a warning. What you're about to see and hear is disturbing and certainly not for children, but shows why there is now a wider investigation to determine if there are other victims. May 22nd, 2019, long-haul truck driver Roy Nelsh is arrested.
I know there's a lot going on. Yeah.
But Clarksville detective Dennis Honholt wasn't laughing. What Nelsh would say in the next 2 hours would stay with him all his days. Roy Nelsh, to me, really embodies evil. I mean, this to me was a pure embodiment of evil. The story that Abby Pimentel had told police that day would later stun even veteran prosecutors.
And the story, when you read it or hear about it, sounds like a movie.
Of how Pimentel's car had run out of gas on I-24, and Nelsh had done a U-turn to stop and help her. Listen to what she accuses Nelsh of doing soon after she entered the truck.
I'm going to keep you for a couple of days, and something to the effect, I'm going to rape you. That you went in the back, and she fought back with you. She said she did get a gun from you, tried to pull the trigger, and it wouldn't shoot. She said she was handcuffed. She managed to get out of the handcuff, throw a blanket over you, and when you yanked the wheel, when you stopped, she got out screaming for help.
Nelsh responds to her claims.
That's her version of events. Well, that's true.
Nelsh doesn't dispute that they fought, even that he hit her over the head with a gun, handcuffed her, and that she'd thrown a blanket over his head while he was driving on the interstate.
She's all over me, beating on me, kicking me. Where were you driving at that point?
Yes.
Did you put the blanket on you?
Yes. Nelsh says, though, he was the victim because of what he claimed Pimentel said soon after he picked her up.
She said, give me your money. For what? To give you your money, I'm going to tell you to rape me.
But already, Detective Honholt was having his doubts, especially when Nelsh said he wanted to get her to police and medical attention.
I'm going to get some cops out here. We'll get some medical out here, see how bad you're hurt.
He seemed very well rehearsed. To watch it unfold in front of your very eyes and see what quite frankly, what a monster is coming out.
Does any of her story concern you? Yeah, it concerns me. I don't know where this is going. I cannot see a good end to it. I've got problems now.
Problems, especially because of what investigators would later find inside Nelsh's truck, along with guns and knives, a bloody rope, a stun gun, sex toys, and a bag of women's undergarments with blood on the bag. In the interview, Nelsh is asked how often he picks up other women.
Maybe once every 2-3 months.
While he doesn't elaborate on who these women are, he does say this.
This ain't my first rodeo with girls out there trying to make a little money.
To be honest with you, my initial thought was, I thought he was a serial killer.
And then there is what prosecutors outlined in their press release upon his indictment. A ledger was found inside, with lists of names, ages, locations, and descriptions of women and children.
To be honest, that was the piece of evidence that chilled me the most.
Do we know if any of those people are missing people?
I can say that it's something that the TBI continues to investigate. I think that the evidence suggests that there were other victims.
Something also noted in the case file. Evidence collected indicates that there may have been previous victims in his vehicle. The detective, who's gone on now to become a police chief in Dover, lets Nelsh know his suspicions are growing.
I really think this is not your first time with something like this. And I'm wondering, is there going to be any other cases that are going to come back on that? No, not that I know of. I don't think you're being completely truthful. There's 1,000 things I can change, but I can't change none of them.
While Nelsh consents to giving his DNA, here's his response when he's asked to take a lie detector test.
Is that something you'd be willing to do if I had Jeremy come down here tonight? You're not interested in a polygraph for no one.
But no detective, no prosecutor was ever able to ask Nelsh about what was in his truck.
It's looking bad in my mind. I know it's looking bad in your mind. I think I probably need to get a lawyer.
Then, on March 10th, he died of acute lymphomic leukemia while awaiting trial. It means now there is only one person who really knows what happened that day, who came face to face with Roy Nelsh and escaped. And tonight, she is telling her story for the first time.
I already know I'm probably going to die, so I'm.
Okay, well, I was seeing how much more it is. I guess might as well hear her story at this point. I think I should be good at the news thing, but we'll see. I'll just finish it. It's almost done.
I'm not going to go down without a fight.
Coming up in just a few moments from now in this newscast, Abby Pimentel tells her story and what she says Nels said to her that makes her believe she is just one of many victims. She talks for the first time just a few moments from now. And by the way, we should say the TBI would only say this is an ongoing investigation.
My goodness. Okay, Jeremy, there is another really frightening part of this. What else investigators found in the truck?
So it is the hardest part of this to even talk about. They found more than 10,000 images of child pornography. We should also say, for all accuracy, that Nels did plead not guilty when he did appear before a judge, but again died before the trial could begin.
Jeremy Finley.
All right.
Okay. That's crazy. I was telling that story about that. Kind of what like how I imagine like some of these guys or women, but I mean, I know that that's like proportionately like almost all serial killers are men, like from like in the 90s or something like that. So, you know, these men driving around and then their perversions like start to get to them. Okay, so he said, I guess we're not by I'm not sure what you mean by that. Why isn't this working? Like my thing keeps it's the stupid touchscreen. Okay, 1 second. Let me get okay. What you mean? Let's see. Oh, I'm out. I didn't even know.